Bonjour, c'est Aegon. Bienvenue dans ce 12e épisode de The Outer World. Voilà.
A reminder to all crew members, there is only one toilet on the ship.
Tout à fait, Ada. J'arrive. Alors. Nous étions à la fin de la quête, ça. Faut que je retourne voir. Phileas.
If you don't mind my saying, you have a message from Adjutant Sophia Akande.
No one ever looks quite the same in person as they do in my reports. And my reports of you have been exceptionally thorough. You've had quite a career.
Trêve de civilité, je ne fais que commencer. Au moins, j'aurais attiré votre attention. Trêve de civilité,
You have something I want. I'd like to negotiate.
Vous devriez améliorer la sécurité. N'importe qui peut voler votre produit chimique.
There's exactly one vessel in all of Byzantium that looks like it dropped out of an aetherwave drama. Phineas Wells is wanted by the board. I want to convince you to turn him in to us.
Bien entendu, essayez de me convaincre.
He has a litany of charges against him. Vandalism, illegal experimentation, sedition. I could go on. Wells is a dangerous madman. His plan is going to endanger everyone in Halcyon. He's an obsessive psychopath. And he's using you. You're in contact with Wells. I want you to send us a tracing signal from his communication terminal.
Les parasités, vous pourriez aller vous faire foutre et ne jamais me rappeler. La réponse est non. Cette conversation est terminée. Voilà.
Wells was our mistake. We failed to apprehend him for years. I'm asking you to help me correct that mistake. I'm sending you my access code. Contact me from Wells's terminal. When you're done, come speak to me in my office.
Adjutant Akande's call has been terminated.
Je voulais pas accepter, moi.
Else, Captain?
Lol, je voulais pas accepter. Non, on va pas faire son truc là. Vous voyez le truc de longue distance.
Now arriving at Phineas's top secret orbital lab.
En espérant que ça va pas activer. Attends, c'est quoi son truc? Non. Ça c'est où c'est bon qui ont choisi.
Good luck, Captain.
Attends, perverti, j'ai amélioré, je sais. Non? Ah bon. C'est vrai qu'au niveau look, c'est mieux comme ça, quoi. Mais ça protège rien du tout, par contre. Si on pouvait cacher l'armure par ce skin, ça serait bien. Bon. Vu qu'on se voit pas de toute façon à part dans l'inventaire. Ouais. Autant rester avec ça pour ne pas oublier la remettre.
I've kept myself busy in your absence, optimized my formula. I'm now confident I can revive the remaining colonists. All I need now is the dimethyl sulfoxide. I'll take as much as you can give me.
chimique, l'espace de secondes, la colonie est sur le point de s'effondrer.
Human test subjects? Oh, that's grotesque. That's unthinkable. That's exactly what I'd expect out of the board.
Elle est morte certaine, mais j'ai raflé tout le monde.
Thank you. You've brought me enough chemicals to get started, at least. I'm just sorry they came at the cost of human lives. Those poor people, they must have died in agony. What exactly was the board trying to accomplish?
Quel était donc le but du conseil? Chercher, persuader moi.
You say the board's trying to freeze their subjects over and over again without inflicting permanent damage? Well, they're nowhere close to solving that problem. Something about this feels wrong. I don't know why the board would ever conduct such an experiment, unless they're working on some kind of hibernation technology. I'll tell you this much. The board scientists are hopelessly lost. After years of fruitless experimentation, they've made exactly zero progress. I know! I've suspected as much for years. Of course, I don't expect the board to do a thing about it. They've been driving our colony to the brink of destruction for decades. The board's mismanagement put our colony on the road to collapse. If we don't put a stop to them, thousands of colonists are going to die. Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You're saying that Halcyon's on the brink of total collapse? And the chairman's plan to save all of us is to save himself? I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. The board made this crisis, and now they want to solve it by freezing the rest of us? That's not a plan. That's a goddamn escape clause. Do you realize what this means for the Hope? For your fellow colonists? The board's going to kill them all. Toss them out into space, just to make room in their hibernation chambers.
Nous devons réfléchir à la situation, il faut trouver une solution. Alors ça s'arrête là, on demande...
Short of lining up every member of the board and shooting them in the back of the head. Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists, engineers, artists, the brightest minds Earth ever sent us, uncorrupted by the board. The board's going to dispose of them all and transform the Hope into a prison for the rest of us. They're likely on their way to the Hope as we speak. We need to get to those colonists before the board. I have enough chemicals to start reviving a few of them, but no easy way to get them off the Hope.
Science, j'aurais bien une solution si risqué mon... un saut intrasystème avec l'espoir.
Merciful gibbering law, you're a genius! We bring the Hope to us. Skip the entire ship across the distance of colony space, right next to my lab. Yes, exactly. You're a step ahead of me, but I perceive the shape of your plan. If we link up the Hope to the Unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can skip the entire colony ship into the rings of Terra 2.
I don't know much about skip drives, not the physics anyhow. I do know the Hope's real massive. How's our bitty little ship supposed to skip it?
Excellent question, my sharp-witted mechanic. You will use your own ship to power up the Hope's skip drive. Your navigational computer can handle the rest.
And that's going to work, without killing us in the process. I thought intra-system micro-jumps were prohibited for a reason.
Yes, there's always a risk of a catastrophic collision between the Hope and, say, Terra 2, in theory. But you'll be fine, provided your calculations are correct. You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the Unreliable. Then head to the bridge. Your navigational computer, Ada, should be be able to activate the Hope skip drive. Once you've skipped the Hope next to my lab, I'll have easy access to the frozen colonists. I can start reviving them immediately.
Attendez, j'ai des questions à vous poser. Attends.
Certainly. How can I help?
Est-ce que j'ai vraiment des questions? Dois-je me préparer à découdre?
Unlikely. The Hope is as massive as the Groundbreaker, but compared to the Rings of Terra 2, positively minuscule. The board might notice, possibly, depending on the position of their heads relative to the depth of their collective posteriors.
Profondeur de leur fondement collectif.
It wouldn't surprise me. When I pulled you out of the Hope, the board nearly intercepted me. I expect they stepped up security since my little act of larceny. Skip drives were never designed to be used within a system, but I skipped my ship across Halcyon when I rescued you, and that turned out fine, mostly. That is, I ruined my ship and nearly killed myself in the process, but the maneuver was well within acceptable margins of risk. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this. Why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers, scientists, engineers, experts in their field. If we work together, we can still find a way to save Halcyon. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. If there's even the slightest chance we can save Halcyon from oblivion, then we have to take it. You absolutely should. Sarcasm, the last refuge of the witless. The adjutant must have sent you some kind of tracking code. If you don't use the code, she'll suspect you betrayed her. I think you should use the code and send a corrupted tracking signal. That should buy me some time.
Okay, sure.
The board's going to catch up to me sooner or later. This way I'll have time to set up some particularly nasty defenses. Use my communications terminal to corrupt the tracking signal. While the board busies themselves trying to decipher it, I'll have plenty of time to prepare my defenses.
Ok. Alors. Donc démarrage, non. C'est ça sur une communication. Attends. Ah mais aussi j'ai gagné des trucs donc. Appliquer. Alors, attends, t'as gagné un truc. Ok. Personnage et la capacité aussi. Ok.
Some crew.
You're adjusting before you pull. You're anticipating it. You...
Of course I'm anticipating it. What if I shoot a friend on accident?
That's on account of your stance. You want to lean into it. Embrace it. Work with it. You're in control here, Parvati, not the gun. Don't let a hunk of metal jerk you around. You've been around powerful machinery all your life. And you're always in control, right?
I guess that's kind of like when the filler's shooting 600 cans of near molten sal tuna down the conveyor while I'm trying to tune a belt.
Here, stand like me. Just so. Hips square. Lean forward a little. It's just equipment, and you're just an engineer using it. Okay. We'll try again later.
Miss Nyoka's so capable, you hardly notice how sad she looks.
Non, j'ai rien à dire. Et toi?
Hey, Cap.
Rien à dire de spécial. Canon électrique ultra. Bon, allez.
Captain, you have a message from Adjutant Sophia Akande.
I'm impressed, Captain. I almost expected you wouldn't go through with it. Unfortunately, Dr. Wells found a way to corrupt the signal before we could pinpoint his location. Still, it's only a matter of time before we find him. Come visit me in Byzantium. We need to have a talk about the future of this colony. Meet me in my office. I've authorized your ship at my personal landing pad.
Adjutant Akande has ended her call. Rather rudely, if I might say, considering she didn't sign off. Will there be anything else, Captain?
Non. Pardon. Ce tartare là, on n'est pas allé ni sur l'Olympe.
We have arrived at the Hope. I need you to reroute power from our ship to the Hope's auxiliary generator. You'll have to connect me to the Hope's comm system so I can convince her central computer to enable the skip drive.
Rétablir.
If your calculations are even slightly off, you could crash the entire colony ship into Terra 2.
C'est toi qui dois
Or
calculer,
the
pas moi.
Sun. The Hope is the Groundbreaker's prettier, sleeker sister. She wandered off and got lost for 70 years, but just recently was found. Also, there are hundreds
Bonjour,
of thousands of
Waza.
frozen organic life forms hibernating in her hold.
Ok, donc là.
Sending a corrupted tracking signal to the board was quite clever, if I might say, Captain.
Voilà, ça, j'espère que je prends les bons personnages. Alimentation auxiliaire de l'espoir. On va aller d'abord à l'émetteur. Alors, attends. 41. Peut-être un peu juste. Alors, attends. On va aller là-bas. oui, d'accord. Putain. Attends. Non, c'est l'étage en dessous. C'est là que je dois aller. Pardon. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Là, je peux descendre. C'est pas par là que je suis arrivé. J'ai l'impression d'avoir fait machine arrière, moi. Ouais, je crois que j'ai fait machine arrière. Attends, parce que j'ai pas super... Bravo. Ah, ça c'est l'intelligence même. Je vais utiliser le... Est-ce que c'est celui-là que je vais faire l'émetteur? J'ai pas pris le bon machin. Alors, attends. Je suis monté là, je vais aller là en fait. Dépêche-toi. Merde. On peut pas passer par là. Activation du système possible. Veuillez réparer le réacteur et activer une source d'alimentation externe.
Error. Hope crew data not found. Identify yourself. Error. Paradox protection protocols have prevented me from registering your stated identification. Please report to your nearest mechanical engineer.
Alors, attends. Il dit... Donc apparemment, faut que je réactive. Enfin, l'émetteur de l'espoir, faut que je réactive.
You all right, Captain? I mean, seeing this place again?
Non, pour l'instant, non, parce que je sais même pas où faut que j'aille. Qu'est-ce que tu as un saut, tout ce quartier. Ah, peut-être qu'il faut que je fasse ça d'abord. Je sais même pas où je dois aller en fait. Piste. Réactiver. Faut réparer le moteur en fait. Voilà. J'aurais dû aller peut-être au vaisseau, remettre le truc en route.
These were the private quarters of the Hope's former crew. Shall we hold a moment of silence for the dearly departed?
Non, pour l'instant.
That's odd, because my programming would indicate that when forced to confront the idea of self-death, organics prefer...
De l'espoir.
Oh, I see. Yes, never mind.
I don't know if we should be in here, Captain.
Attends.
It should be private, shouldn't it?
Ici, 144 000. Alors, attends. Je me souviens par où je suis arrivé, moi. Attends.
Unexpected.
Hold it right there!
Hey! Oh!
What was that?
Voilà, ça c'est fait, la belle connerie du jour. Donc en fait c'est tout de l'espoir qu'il faut que je fasse. D'abord dans mon vaisseau. Non. Ah, retourne là, d'accord. Non.
Something about waking a derelict ship puts me on edge, Captain. Hope you know what you're doing.
Je retourne là. J'étais tout à l'heure. Bonjour, dis-nous. Oh, bordel à cul. Bravo.
Can you hear me, Captain? I have successfully integrated myself into the Hope's comm systems and am attempting to establish contact with the Hope's more primitive processor now. Would you like me to play a mood-suitable music selection while you travel to the bridge? Oh, sorry. File not found.
Et maintenant, passerelle de l'espoir.
I see you've located the stasis chambers. Which pod were you slumbering in for so long, Captain? The missing one, I take it?
Attends. Par où? Non, peut-être pas l'ascenseur. Non. Là, tu planes et Nyoka, là. Ah, c'est par là.
That's the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious to wake him. Greetings, Captain. I am speaking to you through the Hope's computer system. It's a rather cramped feeling, but it'll do.
Avant qu'il soit trop tard, dis-moi, tu crois vraiment que c'est la meilleure chose à faire?
Probably not, but don't let that stop you. My Constellation executables could use some beefing up. Searching. Please stand by. Ah, found one.
À
It will go great,
4,01%.
Captain. I am almost 4.01% certain we will not die. Are you sure? That is extremely dangerous. Skipping the Hope will void the warranty on the skip drive. And also potentially kill an entire planet. How is my humor now, Captain? Improved? Jump starting the skip drive. Destination set to the rings of Terra 2.
C'est vrai, j'ai pas réglé le...
Oh no. Captain, don't do this. I ain't dying on a fucking ship. I want to die in the dirt like we're meant to.
Doing it. I mean, affirmative. Skipping the Hope in 3, 2, 1.
ADA, does your captain seriously intend to do a micro-jump in system with engines that haven't been powered in 70 years on a derelict ship?
That is what my captain intends, yes.
But that is a gross misuse of the skip drive. The Zero Point Drives Corp and I will not be held responsible for any damage incurred during transport, and this will cause extreme damage.
Yes, I am aware of that.
You should not be doing this. The humans will die.
Thank you, Hope. It looks like all systems are a go. Captain, I would advise you to hold on to something. Now.
Quick, game over, non?
Oh, good. We are still alive and have successfully skipped into Terra 2's orbit. I reported as much to Phineas Wells, but he has not responded. Perhaps you should check in on him.
Ugh. I feel like my stomach's still back where the ship used to be. I need a hard drink and a long nap.
Oui. Alors attends. Est-ce qu'on peut se taper directement sur le vaisseau? Non. Je me barre.
Huh?
Bon, ça va, c'est passé, tranquille.
Captain, I am receiving a transmission from... Captain, I shall now play the transmission I received from Dr. Wells.
Thank the Lord you warned me. I was able to get some defenses up, but they might not be enough. The board has sent some serious firepower to pry me out of here. They're trying to get in here, and I'm not sure I can stop them. If they capture me, if we can't communicate again, there's something very important you need to remember. The board, all their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. Do you hear me? They're fucking corporate swine. You fucking pigs! I'll take you all out with me! I'll never...
It would seem the recording captured some rather dire events. I presume you'll want to dock at the orbital lab to check on your associate as soon as possible? How can I be of assistance? We've arrived at Phineas's orbital lab.
Voilà. Bon, moi je vais garder eux deux. On va tenir, on va arriver parce qu'il va y avoir une bataille. C'est bientôt la fin du jeu, je pense. Normalement, on arrive à la fin. Et attends, parce qu'il y a... Censé faire... C'est pas trop... Lorsqu'un ennemi subit un... Ça peut être pas mal ça. 630.
Nicely done.
pour discuter l'année prochaine. Pour trouver des informations supplémentaires, l'ordinateur de finance a été verrouillé. Il est pour le mot de passe. D'accord, alors attends. Est-ce que là, il y a une note? Voilà. Je fouille le labo. Fouiller le labo. Casque d'hibernation, d'accord. Mot de passe, d'accord. Normalement, je pense qu'on n'a pas besoin de le noter. de passe, comment tu veux que je l'utilise? T'es censé être là, non? On peut pas le saisir, le mot de passe. C'est quoi ce truc-là? Fouiller les lieux pour trouver le mot de passe. J'ai trouvé le mot de passe, non? Alors, apparemment, c'était pas celui-là. Là. Voilà, attends. Je vais trouver un mot de passe là. Je comprends pas. Il y avait bien un mot de passe sur ce que j'ai trouvé normalement. Ouais. Il me dit là. Il y avait un mot de passe tout à l'heure, normalement, de toute façon, je peux même pas le saisir. Même si je tape sur mon clavier. Ah. Voilà, le code d'accès, il était dans le... Ah, tartare. Merci. Ok, terminé. Donc, j'approche de la dernière quête. Voilà, donc, normalement, j'ai pas besoin. Je fais ça.
I am a dirty, autonomous digital astrogator, Sam. I haven't cleaned my internals in ages. Can you hardly process the sheer quantity of dust built up in there? Tell me you've seen worse. We'll continue the... Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison planet, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to, as you humans put it, air some concerns.
D'accord. Alors, je
So,
l'écoute.
Phineas got himself taken to Tartarus. That's usually a one-way trip.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth. But that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain.
On peut pas abandonner Phineas, j'ai tout pris.
I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations toward risky behavior. Breaking into Tartarus will not be easy.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the trouble. Trust me, I know.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
C'est parti, mouchez vos cercles. Hein? On se prépare.
It's the craziest plan I've ever heard. And I mean that as a compliment.
You didn't hire me to think. And I ain't about to start now. You're my boss. And I'll walk into fire with you.
I think it's insane. But maybe the colony needs a healthy dose of insanity right about now.
I know it's dangerous. And I won't lie and say I'm not scared out of my wits. But I couldn't live with myself if we didn't do something.
You're asking for more than bravery from us, Captain. But there are worse ways to go than dying for a good cause. I'm in.
Let Sam get the grime out. It's what our units do best.
C'est vrai que lui pourrait...
The entire plan is a terrible idea, but I admire your bravado, Captain, which leads me to illogically believe, against the odds, that you will be successful.
We gonna prepare? Sure. Guess I could give my ass-kicking boots another coat of polish. You got some sort of plan in mind?
Le jeu film, on emploie de manière douce si possible.
The fewer folks we got to hurt, the better. Maybe on our way out, we let all those poor souls locked up in there go free.
Sure, boss. You do the talking. I'll pack a few more rounds of ammo.
Attends. Affronter Sophia. Vivre le chemin sur Tartare et parler de façon du conseil, Sophia à Kand. Ça, c'est la dernière mission. Alors attends. Peut-être qu'on va y aller tous en même temps là. S'il donne ça, c'est que ça soit on va tous y aller en même temps. Sans regarder. J'ai combien de temps de jeu? 24 heures. Je pense que je... Par contre ça on n'est pas allé sur Olympe. Ni taille. Ces trois machins on n'est pas allé. La méthode sur Tartas qui limite les dessins de la colonie. Si vous voulez faire quelque chose, voilà. Ouais, ça veut dire que c'est des trucs qu'on peut pas faire en fait. C'est des quêtes qu'on pourra plus faire après, sans doute.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time. Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident deaths, including but not limited to executions, are as follows: 1,684. Resident escapes are as follows: 0. The interior can be chilly. Take a scarf with you, Captain. I would also ask that you leave your captain's ID with me, in the event that you do not return. I can make the assurance that I will not leave with another captain, unless you do not return within 876,541,652 hours. Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the prison's docking authority now.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence here is an explicit violation of UDL corporate policy. You are hereby confined to your docking platform. until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and notarized, at which point your vessel will be seized and you will be executed. I wager it'll take a bit longer than it takes you to lose your patience and storm out of your ship looking to get shot. To be honest, that'd make my job a lot easier. You come out, we shoot you full of holes, and then everyone goes about their day worry-free. Except you. You'll be dead.
Ah, c'est pas assez persuasant.
We're on lockdown. We have standing orders to shoot intruders on sight. Tartarus docking authorities signing up. Hang on. Looks like you're gonna have company at the execution. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the groundbreaker? What the? Pay no mind to that. Just have a pleasant day.
Transmission terminated. How can I be of assistance? Take care. I require a functioning captain to run the ship.
Alors, est-ce qu'ils nous disent on choisit un compagnon ou on y va tous en même temps, hein? Alors moi je prendrais les deux. Alors bien pris Sam avec nous. Ah, oui, comme ça. Objectif.
The captain did right by us once.
What?
Now
What
it's
was that?
our turn. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardet! Opening fire!
Don't mess with us.
Stay down, Hullhead. Groundbreaker doesn't need trash like you. What? No prison!
Here we go! That's the last of them.
Qui c'est qui me tire dessus?
Prison hat for bars when it's got a storm like that.
Apparemment, il y a des gens qui sont venus m'aider là.
I'm not too keen on walking into a prison. They lock me up, I'm liable to kill everyone trying to get back out.
Let's look around. There's gotta be a few ways through here.
faire discrétion pour aller de l'autre côté là. Ouais, je crois qu'on est mal barré.
Here they come.
Ça va.
Here they come!
Pour monter. Oh, abruti.
Nice hit.
Bravo. On va faire commencer où? C'est vrai que tout à l'heure j'ai entendu. Et non, merde. Attends, j'ai besoin de la réparer. Casque 84. Pistolet automatique 482 598. Donc j'ai 1000 machin. J'ai 400 machin. 76, c'est vrai. 160. Et... salarié. Je vais, ouais. Avant de combattre, il faudrait que je voie les trucs que je pourrais manger, tout ça. C'est 30 secondes, tout ça. Que les trucs, c'est durer 30 secondes. Sortie du but. Quand même, c'est hard. Hein. Alors, attends, je dois aller où? Ah, 18. Ah. Juste à côté.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight!
Bien ce petit canon là. Oula. 636 là. Non, c'est 900. Je suis toujours à 201.
And that's how it's done, Captain.
C'est pas mal ça pour... pour assommer. Et eux ils s'en occupent. 84. 41.
Here they come!
Merde. Oh, con. Voilà, c'est ça de foncer dans le tas. Change d'arme. On a été où?
To shreds, you
sauvegarder là. Et je vais faire une petite pause. Je vous dis à tout de suite. Et nous revoilà. On va sauvegarder pour être sûr. Donc je suis à combien? Ah non. Par rapport à tout à l'heure. 4 heures. À peine 25 heures en gros.
Well, look who it is. I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter, girl? Couldn't find actual employment?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have. I'm exactly where I want to be.
Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
Keep talking, and you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. My word! You've correctly... It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know. Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. I don't know what happened. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking...
We're helping, which is more than you can say.
I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery. You're just getting in the way.
Voilà, vous savez ce... Vous savez, ça nous... Pas tracer l'esprit, honnêtement. C'était pour donner un coup de main.
If I and my people can ride it out in luxury and happiness, yes, yes, I would. I don't know if you've noticed, Captain, but Halcyon's pretty much a lost cause.
Ah merde.
I'll admit, there's no shortage of talent in the scientists and engineers there. Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle, as it were, and make it out of here with Phineas alive, I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've already caused. Fine. If you survive, you'll need someone to sell the rest of the board on your plan.
On trouve une utilité, parfait. Ça va être chaud. Attends, je dois aller. Oh la caméra, bonjour.
Doing this, huh?
Take a breath now, folks. Once we're up there, I suspect we ain't gonna have time to stop shooting.
Captain, You have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've been working with Dr. Wells from the beginning. When we moved to arrest him, he was prepared. I lost good soldiers in the attempt. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. Do you imagine you're leading some grand revolutionary army? Those barbarians from Monarch are running wild in my prison. I suppose I have you to thank for this indignity. You're nothing but a rabble-rouser. I'm going to put an end to your little rebellion, and then I'm going to have you and your associates arrested. The board is the only legitimate power in Halcyon. We are Halcyon. I admit I miscalculated the extent of your influence. The board's plan never accounted for you. This is a mistake I intend to correct. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation...
On peut peut-être discuter.
Well, that's mostly correct. I take no leaving you alive. Fair enough.
Ah mince, pas assez de charme et pas assez de persuasion.
Yes, my... That isn't true. That experiment... Damn you. You are telling the truth. My scientists have been lying to me, and I was stupid enough to trust them at their word. We're going to have to start all over again. All that research, all those experiments. You've set us back decades. You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you, but you threw your lot in with that madman, Phineas Wells.
Namas.
This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to... And don't worry.
Attends, sauvegarde. Ah, bordel.
Exiting security enforcement mode.
Allez, c'est chaud. J'étais pas la bonne arme. 620, 630. On va mélanger avec ça, on les scotche. Merde. Mais c'est pas ça que je veux, putain. Oh. Mais... Ah ça. Ah ça change de putain d'arme. Ah, bordel. Merde, comment je fais pour l'avoir là? Parce que là je suis bloqué. Putain, putain d'armes là aussi. On leur rapetissir là. Qu'il fasse moins de dégâts. Oh, fais chier. Change d'arme, putain.
Your graveside fees. Returning to patrol mode.
Putain d'armes qui ne servent pas à grand chose en fait. Ça fait pas beaucoup de dégâts. Renversement. Ça, j'ai essayé, ça fonctionne pas. Ça ne. On va se mettre comme ça parce que j'ai pas envie de tirer 10 ans. J'ai bien voulu le finir aujourd'hui le jeu en fait. Mais... Mais c'est... Oh. Même en mode d'histoire, j'ai du mal. Ils ont pas assez de protection en fait. Ah non, je peux pas le mettre.
To shreds, you say? Covering you! I see you now! Libations on me, folks!
Sauvegarde. Eh ben non. On est où? Là-bas.
Why won't you just stop?
Get me out of here!
Ah, c'est tout? C'était ça la fin du truc? Si facile que ça?
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Est-ce que ça...
I know, my friend, I know. And now it's finally over. The board's finished. It's only a matter of time before the entire system slips from their grasp. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
Moi, on a envoyé un message sur Terre.
Yes, certainly.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, n'oubliez-vous?
You might have heard of the Earth Directorate's frigate. Half the colony's entire military was on that ship. They were returning to Earth when they vanished without a trace. That was 2 years ago. We haven't heard a word from them since. Whatever happened to Earth likely happened to them.
Je suis au courant pour le reste des colons.
I wasn't trying to hide the truth from you, but after all you've done, I owe you an explanation. Yes, I experimented on the Hope's colonists. Each of my experiments ended in catastrophic failure. Each of my subjects died in agony. You are my first and only success. I didn't tell you about the others because I didn't want to burden you. My failures are my own to bear, not yours. I'm not asking you to forgive me. Well, my apologies. If you have any more questions... Yes, Akande mentioned as much. Earth hasn't sent us a single message in 3 years. No one knows why. Akande had kept the truth to herself, perhaps with good reason. I don't know what happened, but something must have gone horribly wrong. I don't know why Earth's gone silent. I don't even know if Earth exists anymore. We have no connection back to Earth, and return is... Yes, we do. You've done... We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest mind. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job.
J'ai un plan, le président est à ma botte. Personne ne saura que c'est moi qui dirige la colonie. Le président ne sera jamais à mon avis.
The chairman? I don't know why you let that... You're the best thing to ever happen to help. We're not a colony any longer. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows.
Ok. Je voulais finir le jeu aujourd'hui.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation. but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Ellie savored her adventures on the Unreliable. Once they were done, she returned to life as usual, running missions of dubious legality, shunning respectable work, and living life to the fullest. She meant to reach out to her one-time captain, but she was always bad at keeping in touch. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. As hard as she tried to drink them away, Nyoka's memories eventually overcame her. Traveling with the crew served as a constant reminder of the family she'd lost, and so she eventually returned to Monarch to get back to what she found most comfortable: the deep end of a bottle and the far end of a trail. Few have seen her since, but travelers often swear they hear her and her machine gun in the night, screaming swears and spitting bullets. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? You brought an end to the riot on Tartarus and partnered with Chairman Rockwell to run the colony together. As Halcyon looked toward the future, you remained a constant presence in the colony's administration. You were never weighed down by bureaucracy, and you never had to dirty your hands with politics. You had people who did that for you. By your influence, Halcyon survived the turbulent years that were to follow. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Et ben voilà, je terminais. Eh ben ça c'est fait. Je peux refaire une partie. On passera à autre chose sans doute. Je vais remplacer par un petit Sherlock Holmes à partir de demain ou jeudi. Sur ce, je remercie les personnes qui ont regardé ce let's play jusqu'à la fin et les autres qui ont fait que passer. Et je vous donne rendez-vous à un prochain live. Merci à tous et à bientôt.
day is done, the time has come. You battled hard, the war is won. You did your worst, you tried your best. Now it's time to rest. Now it's time to rest.